want to talk a little bit about a couple of the programs that you offer, like Onward to Opportunity and the Veterans Career Transition Program. Can you speak to the interconnectedness of these programs and what the data is showing regarding these programs' effectiveness, specifically for women's veterans?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that question. So our Onward to Opportunity program is only one of its kind currently being offered. It is offered both on installation and online. It is the only end-to-end kind of transition employment training program where we are offering industry-recognized training and credentialing exams, and then ultimately connecting those participants to a network of more than 1,000 employers. We're seeing higher than average online completion rates. We're seeing very successful employment connection rates, and more significantly for employers, we're seeing higher than average retention rates at the 6-month and 1-year points post-employment. Specifically with respect to women veterans, we're seeing that women veterans that complete these programs are earning more money than their non-veteran counterparts. We're seeing more women veterans entering STEM. So we're seeing that there is more positive outcomes for those women, but we certainly have more work to be done in the research in that regard.
And can you tell me what role, if any, do these programs have with the VA? Does VA collaborate with you at all?
Well, the VA isn't necessarily collaborating with us in Onward to Opportunity, but they certainly have been working with us in our America Serves work in communities across the country. We have an MOU with the VA that allows local VA facilities to participate in our Serves networks. But I would say that we are also working with the DoD and the branches of military service with regard to Onward to Opportunity. We're also working with the Department of Labor on many of our research initiatives, and with the SBA on our entrepreneurship training program. So we're deeply engaged with the federal government. I think there's opportunity for certainly more of that, but we are trying to create those touch points across all of our portfolio of programs. Okay.
And I want to ask, so I represent a very large rural district in upstate New York, and this question is really for any of the witnesses. I know access to primary care is very challenging in rural areas, and access to care for women veterans in rural areas is very challenging. So what is the VA doing? How is the VA doing trying to get care into rural areas, and specifically when it comes to women veterans?
I'm happy to start with that. So I know that there has been a considerable effort by the VA to use things like telemedicine to reach rural areas, and that's something that we think can also be utilized to reach rural campuses and to better integrate recently transitioned veterans who are using their GI Bill right after service to help them be familiar with VA care, to access VA care where they are in a rural setting and an easy-to-use setting. So they seem to be doing well, and we're here to work with them to make sure that they can continue to do better with that and to allow them to better integrate with those that are recently transitioned on campus.
Any other witnesses?
Yes, sir. I would definitely say that the use of the choice program has definitely worked great for me personally, being able to, and it's not just, I know there's a lot of influence on veteran in rural areas because they can't get to it, but there are also veterans that have disabilities that are not able to travel, great distances. It could be, I live in Haymarket, Virginia, so going to the DC VA Medical Center in traffic is a great distance for me. So I just think that I know that they are on the right track with, more use of the choice program and granting that permission to go use, doctors that you pick and you're comfortable with is definitely a great avenue of approach that should continue to be supported.
Okay. And then just a quick question on higher education. Perhaps Ms. Schwartz can answer the question. On average, women veterans typically utilize their VA educational benefits early in their career and before men. What are the reasons for this trend?
I am not an expert in the statistics area. Lauren might be better equipped to answer that.
Go ahead.
Sure. I think if you look at some of the research that's come out from IVMF that has shown that some of the stressors that women veterans face at higher rates than men, things like financial stability and wanting to provide for their families, education is a natural choice when you're looking at long-term life earnings and wanting to make sure that you can provide for yourself over a lifetime.
All right.
Nothing.